following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Let's go, baby.
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com
We were on the break.
with Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Thursday, September 30th, 2021, Season 17, Episode number 31. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. Nick, we got a little time today, so give me a 31.
Oh, let's go with Roy Williams. He's
Your boy.
Yeah, that's
Your boy, Roy.
George Teague, maybe. I mean, there's a lot. Brock Marion, Byron Jones.
Brock Marion. That was when I first got to the Cowboys.
It would just be Byron for me.
Byron.
I can't. Who's wearing 31 right now?
Trayvon Diggs wore it for like an hour
Yeah.
training camp before he moved to
Yeah.
I think
27. Yeah.
Yeah. I think 31's open right now.
No, Kennedy.
Kennedy.
That was
Kennedy.
Kennedy,
Oh,
right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Maurice.
Breaking news there.
Sorry,
Dave?
Maurice. No, I'm not.
Uh-oh.
Hey, he got some playing time last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I love that response.
No, I was honestly thinking of like in the 80s of like a 31. I don't know. Benny Barnes, maybe? Played back in the 70s.
Barnes.
He was in the
That
70s.
sounds like a basketball player for some reason. Benny Barnes.
No.
he's
He played football. He was a corner.
All right.
31. Yep.
All right, well, thanks for that, Nick.
Thomas
Appreciate that.
Everett. Yeah.
Let's jump into what some of our topics for the day. Remember, we got Bucky Brooks coming up in the second segment from NFL Network. He's going to talk to us about this Carolina defense. Man, I'm a little worried about this one. We're going to talk to him about it and get some feedback from him on what we think of this defense. What are you doing?
Just, I mean,
All over the map?
Yeah,
we
you
know
watch.
this.
You probably watch like
We
7
know this.
plays, and you're like, if them stop. I'm not saying they're not good, but I mean,
We
just
know
like,
this. We know. I get worried. I just said it yesterday. Like I got PTSD as a fan. Like, I'm
it's
all over
not-
the map.
It's
I
not
know
even that you get worried. Like you ride the wave. Like you either think that the Cowboys will never lose again, or that like everything is going to be bad.
And by the way,
always.
I could be like that an hour apart. Like
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not even. It's
I'm
not
net-
even in weeks. It's like an hour apart.
I already said this. An hour apart. You were like, get to work on that story, man. And then like 15 minutes later, you were like,
gosh,
we're in
gosh.
trouble.
I bet you-
we're in trouble. I was like, they're not in trouble.
in the press
Like,
box, if there was a camera that showed like both of us,
Yeah.
we would probably annoy so many people because we don't just say like, man, that was a bad play by so and so. We kind of take it to a, does he need to be cut? Like, is he any good? Like, like we just take this whole.
Is he going to the Pro Bowl?
Yeah.
Like,
See,
yeah, we go
I
all
think-
the way in.
I think people would relate to y'all because that's how fans
That's
watch
how they do
games.
it,
Maybe so.
yeah.
I think
Maybe
people
so.
would be annoyed by me because I'm just sitting there and like I look over, I'm like, yep, y'all are talking, cool. I'm gonna watch the game.
Y'all can be quiet if you
Yeah.
want to.
No,
It's okay.
well, I
you
know that's
probably
not gonna
got some
happen.
chats going on with your LSU buddies and stuff like that. Like you're always cranking away on something, but that might be just tweeting.
It's usually Twitter or pulling up the stats. But so you got to remember, my friends aren't Cowboy fans.
That's true,
So, I mean, they might. I'll get text people that are like, "What the hell, Dave? Amari's on my fantasy team. He's not doing anything." I'm like, "Shut up! I don't care." Like,
I can do something about
yeah,
that.
I'm at work right now.
I barely care about my fantasy team.
They're going like Joe Burrow.
What's Joe
Well,
doing
oh,
today?
Joe doing?
When Cincinnati or LSU are playing, it's a different story for sure.
You know,
Like,
actually,
man,
but
tonight. I'm sorry.
I know. I saw that too, and I was like,
Jags
man,
and Bengals.
I'm really excited about football right now, just because it's that time of the year. But I'm like, I'm having a hard time getting up for this one.
I would speak.
Hard time.
This happened right before Mike McCarthy's press conference. Somebody was like, "Yeah, maybe I'll do that tonight." It's not like anybody wants to watch Jags Bengals, and I was like, "Speak for yourself, Joey B and Jamar. I'm in. I'm there."
They're
tweeting the game.
their white uniforms might be the best in the league.
Bingle?
Oh,
They're pretty nice,
dude, they are
slick.
awesome. Well, I'm not talking about the Jags. Okay? No, I mean, and they're fine. But no, I don't know. The Bengals, they got it. The arrow's definitely going up right now. I mean, for them. I mean, I know we don't play them. I know we're not supposed to be talking about them. But
Well, one of the interesting things, and I'll tie it back to the Cowboys, I just read this morning, Cheeto Awuzie, who was signed by them in the offseason, cornerback now, starting for them, he has the lowest completion percentage against him when he's been targeted in the entire NFL through 3 games.
for him.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and
good for him.
it made me wonder, and I don't remember. You guys know way more and keep up with this a lot more than I do. But what was the deal? What did he get signed for in Cincinnati?
It was like low to mid 20s, like 3 years. I want to say 3 years, $22 million, or like
Doable deal for a cornerback, starting cornerback.
Oh, that is a good price for a starting caliber corner. Yeah, for sure.
But they had no room for him because they were going to draft one of these two guys.
Yeah.
They were going to draft one.
But how would you feel right now if he was on the
It was 3 years, 21.7. I was close.
Yeah. So how would you feel right now if he was opposite Diggs? Would you feel better about that than you do with
No.
Anthony Brown?
No.
But you gotta remember, there was no way any of those two corners weren't going to be there for the Cowboys in their mind. They're going to get a corner here.
True,
They're
yeah.
going to take one of these two.
They thought they were getting one first round.
Right.
It's going to be we're going to have one of those guys with Diggs, and we're going to be off and running.
The way the Cowboys have played this is perfect. Anthony Brown's not amazing. Jordan Lewis is fine. That's okay because they didn't invest in them to be guys that this is not Jalen Smith where you're like, what are we going to do with this contract? It's like the minute Kelvin Joseph steps up, or even if he doesn't, you can just keep drafting that, and you can either let Anthony Brown's already. This is the second year of his extension, so he's already only got 1 year left after this year. And by the way, the guarantees are done. You can move on from that whenever you want to. You can move on from Anthony Brown or Jordan right now, and the cap hit is negligible by NFL standards.
Right.
So they're serviceable. They're good enough for now. They're bridge players. That's Brian Broaddus. Where are you at, buddy? You're building a bridge with this player, waiting for these young guys. It's unfortunate, Kelvin.
So good.
It's unfortunate that Kelvin Joseph isn't ready right now, but the way they played this is great. And by the way, drafting Kelvin Joseph in the second round doesn't stop them from drafting a cornerback in the first round next year if that's how it falls.
I thought about that too, but I've got another position that I'm like,
Well, I'm not saying they need to draft a corner in the first round, but
What's that position?
up?
Offensive line,
center. And I'm thinking, if you're picking 32nd, you can.
He just threw that out there.
Just kidding.
It just kind of went right past.
Hey, they've picked 32nd before, and I think it was the year they got Frederick, and they got a center.
31.
Oh,
Yeah,
was
31.
it 31?
Yeah, 31.
But I'm just saying
they weren't in the game, but they got 31.
They'll be in the 20s. I mean, this is a good football team.
I think so too.
I mean, they'll be in the 20s. That's where you can get superior talent and value at a position like that. So we'll see. Biotish has got to get better. They're going to ride with him here, I think. And I don't know if he played poorly. I know a couple plays where he didn't.
Well, I will do in the final segment. We actually going to spend some time on the offensive line because I really want to talk about a couple different guys on that offensive line and the other part to this, and we'll talk a little bit to Bucky about this. This may be the best, if you go across the line, this may be the best line that they will have faced to this point, at least how they're playing this year, because I know the Bucs are still the Bucs, and their defense last year was probably the best in the league, among the best in the league for sure. But thinking about how they're playing this year, this is definitely a very talented defensive line they'll be facing. So I want to see kind of how those guys are going to relate there. I did have one question. We were talking about the cornerbacks, and with regards to Trayvon Diggs, we had a question from Twitter from Randall Walker. He said, with Trayvon shadowing receivers now, can he also cover them when he's lined up in the slot? What have you guys seen as far as when he's traveling? How much does he move around? Does he go into the slot, or does he pretty much stay on the outside?
That's a really good question. And
I feel like I've seen him in there.
I think I've seen him in there too.
But it all depends on who you're playing and what do they do.
Yeah.
But I know Keenan Allen is a lineup everywhere type of guy. I don't know if he actually, you know what? After the game, we got Trayvon Diggs against the Chargers, and I asked him about that. He said, yeah, he pretty much went with him every snap except for a couple of times when we went into zone and some coverages on third down. I'm not sure if that meant slot or not. I mean, I think he can. He can do it. He can go in there. Again, I say it 1,000 times, but when he moves around, a lot of people are moving around too. So you got to give credit to the whole defense for adjusting as well.
Yeah, I hate to. I'm just gonna keep bitching about Game Pass. It's awful. So my tape study is not where I want it to be right now. I will get better as the season goes. I was gonna say I can't remember him being in the slot a ton. But I have all the confidence in the world that he could if they needed him to. Mm-hmm. So that makes sense. Yeah, Keenan Allen does that. Mm-hmm. I would play him wherever I felt like he needed to be. I don't care where it is.
Sometimes it's a domino effect of it too. And I always go back to, I think Des Bryant made Cole Beasley's career because Dez was limited in the slot. He couldn't play in the slot.
Yep.
Beasley couldn't play on the outside. So Beasley always had a role in the slot because Dez was always going to be on the outside. Cowboys have cornerbacks like Jordan Lewis that I don't think they really want to put on the outside. So therefore, you want if you put Diggs inside, then who goes to the outside? And that where might be a mismatch that they don't want to get into. So that's why I don't think it's not that he couldn't. I think it's probably because some other inside guys aren't as good on the outside.
Worth noting,
He's
Trayvon
had
Diggs.
28 snaps in the slot.
There you go. Wow,
That's a lot.
good.
Yeah.
It's a good pull by Beam.
Dang.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Get it.
Our producer, Chris Beam, thank you for that information. But yeah, that says a lot about his ability. to
28,
pop
so-
up.
Or if
And
that was a
what-
website or if Beam just charts this.
One,
He might chart it as he's shooting.
As
the
he's
game
shooting
with his
on the
camera.
sideline,
Yeah.
be like, slot, with watching it with one eye here. And, yeah.
So they've probably played a little bit more somewhere. Like I'm guessing they've probably played like 120 snaps on defense. It was 54 last week. So that's like somewhere in the teens
he's
in
played
terms
190 snaps.
of 109. Damn, I shorted him by a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say like 50,
Yeah.
190.
190 feels like a lot for 3 games.
190 out of
It
190.
says 190, 28 in the slot, and hold on one second.
Either, but so it's not a huge percentage. It is. I mean, 28.
But it means he
157
can.
the outside.
The point
Yeah.
is it can, and that's I think what the question was: is
Yeah.
can he truly follow a guy if they wanted him to for the entire game, no matter where he goes? And I think he can.
I would not limit him if that's what the game plan called for. I'm cool with it.
I just again, if that means Jordan Lewis is lining up on the outside, that might be more of a problem than letting Diggs just not take the star receiver when he goes inside. We've seen Jordan Lewis. I mean, it wasn't a ton of plays, but we've seen him stay with guys like Kamara for a little bit. Jordan Lewis is a good player, quick, and he's one weird play away from. We're talking about him all week.
Yeah.
If that ball popped right in his
It
face,
came quick, yeah.
That wasn't really a drop. But if he catches that, walks into the end zone.
Yep.
It's not a drop, and I'm not trying to trash talk Jordan, but that's what I was talking about. People are like, "Oh yeah, the Diggs pick against Tampa, whatever. That's a bobble ball."
Right.
Good point.
Not guaranteed to make those plays. We haven't seen Dallas cornerbacks make those plays. I think the bounce on Jordan was tougher than the bounce to Diggs.
It came a lot faster. Yeah.
Diggs' play was a little bit easier to make, but I'm not taking for granted that a Dallas cornerback can make that play because we just haven't seen it often.
Jordan, Diggs never played offense. Jordan has.
Diggs played receiver at Bama.
No, I'm talking about
you
for
mean
the
in
Cowboys.
oh yeah, Mr.
But-
the jet sweep extraordinaire.
Yeah, that's 4 yards
forgot
right there.
about that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
I
if they
wanted
ever
to
needed,
forget about
if they ever needed something like that, I think Diggs could play receiver.
I think so,
for
too.
sure. Now
They
I don't know why
They don't stay
They
over
don't.
there.
They
man.
don't. They don't
They're
need
like
it.
the best receiver.
They
core in
don't
the
need
league.
it. I don't think he would be. He's not better than like
Don't
Noah
trick this thing
Brown.
up too much. You don't
No,
have to.
I'm not. I'm saying, but like
You got enough injuries where you need an extra. Maybe
he's got great hands. You could just see the interception, the play that he made. And let's talk about him real quick. Dave wrote the story. NFC defensive player of the
NFC defensive player of the month.
That's big.
September will be over by the time they play.
That is huge.
What is there to say? 3 picks, a touchdown, 6 pass breakups, which is leading the league.
That's awesome.
Dallas's pass defense is top 10. I don't think I realized that, but it's large.
Mickey's going to answer this one for you.
Tell me the last time this has happened.
Whatever you're about to ask.
No, that was the question.
Yeah, Mickey, because he sits with the guy Everson Walls.
Was that the last? No. I'm saying the last time the Cowboys had a defensive player named Defensive Player of the Month in the NFL.
It's probably D-Ware.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Yeah.
My memory is not as great as I think it used to be, but I'm pretty sure that a player has never won this in the time that I've covered the team.
2013 was your first year,
Right. Which it's
I had
not
my
a
media
huge
guide,
stretch of time, but
Go right to it.
I don't think
I'm
it's
guessing it was back in the Ware days.
I don't think it's
in the
happened.
heyday of DeMarcus
Defensive Player of
Ware.
the Month.
Yeah.
You never know.
And if you want to talk about cornerbacks,
yeah.
good luck with that.
You
Finding
don't think
that one.
Tinu did it?
I'm guessing no. He never was a big interception guy, and to do that, you got to get some interceptions.
You gotta-
Roy Williams might have, but yeah, it's not
True.
Dave's. Not
Maybe.
Dave's era. I
Yeah.
don't know. I can't think of a guy that did it.
He's been a revelation. Like I knew he was good. I was reluctant to say he was this good.
because of Bama.
No,
I'm
not
just messing with you.
just mainly because I've been burned
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, because of Bama.
Seriously though, I wrote this article after it happened.
I heard
Our
you
first
talking
round
about
picks were good, great at Alabama, but second second round picks and on, it's been hit and miss.
Yeah.
For them. So I think they get taken because they were really good players there, but they get,
Sometimes you don't know if it's because of all the talent around them, right?
And I'm very surprised at what he's been able to do, honestly.
I don't want to. Yeah, I am. There's no other way to say it. Like, I thought he was a good player. Thought he had a good rookie year. Now I'm like, damn, is he like a top?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's too soon to say top 10, and I think you have to break it down. I was talking about this on the radio today. Like, you can't compare a second-year corner who's a month into his second year to Jalen Ramsey, who's been doing this for 5 years.
Right.
Like, the pecking orders are a little bit different. But, like, among the younger players, guys who are still on their rookie deals, he's in the conversation.
Has he played 16 games yet? I don't think he has. Didn't he miss like 4?
He missed a few last year. I'd have to look it up.
He's probably played like 15 or so games. And so you think about it. And I know that's hard to say, like a 16 game, because he's had 2 training camps and preseason and stuff like that. But 16 games, I think he's about to play his 16th game. If you were sitting there to say, hey, he's got 6 interceptions, I mean, that would be a monster rookie year.
He's the fastest player to it since Marcus Peters.
The last defensive player of the month
company
for the Cowboys was DeMarcus Lawrence in September 2017.
Damn it.
17.
That was because remember he started that year with like 7 sacks.
Yeah.
He got 4 sacks against Denver in that blowout, and he tore it up. I forgot about that.
And then Sean Lee had it twice. September of 13 and October 13 and September
I just
of
sucked
11.
then.
I can promise you that Sean Lee played the Eagles in that month, maybe twice.
Well,
because
that was his team.
He'd get like
That was his
18
team
tackles in there.
He also
I'll go look that up.
September September
Thank you, Chris.
13 was when he had that pick 6 against the Chargers that year too, and that was in September.
Didn't he get hurt that game?
I don't know. I'll never. He picked 6 Rivers, and they had a big lead at halftime, and I was like, all right, they're rolling. And then like they got their asses kicked in the second half.
I think he got hurt in that game because D. Ware threw a player onto his foot and broke his toe, and he got hurt. Yeah, D. Ware just tossed some guy around.
See ya.
I can tell, like, we're all in a great mood and have energy today because we're just all over the freaking place.
And I do need to take a break.
We talked about the Bengals before we talked about any other player on the team.
But I brought it back to the Cowboys.
You did. You put it back in the row.
All right, so we're gonna take our first break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Bucky Brooks of NFL Network. We'll talk about the Carolina defense. His defense is pretty good. We're gonna get into that when we come back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Back to the break.
Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders making the team is back for another exciting season. Don't miss new episodes every Friday at 9, 8 Central, only on CMT. That's a read right there. Yeah.
Good job, Nick. Welcome back. Second segment of the break.
You gonna watch Making the Team?
I absolutely will. Will. And by
you
the way,
watching any other
I
reality
was
shows
just about
other
to
than
say
Big Brother?
Big Brother's over now.
Go Tiffany.
Huh?
She won.
She didn't win.
I thought she. Oh, she won. She won Housemate. She won
Yes.
America's Favorite.
Sorry for all the people that DVR'd it watching it tonight.
I know, right? You just killed it.
They're like,
for
I'm
some
not going to
people.
watch Bengals Jags. I'm going to watch this tonight.
I'm watching what happened last night, and Dave just
We've been watching Survivor.
I have been watching Survivor. I watched the second episode last night. It's funny. I heard you guys talking over there. To
I'm
Danny.
in, man.
And
I'm
it's
in.
like the funny thing was like right now Danny's not even like on screen a whole lot because they're just like, oh, you guys won again. You just go back.
You don't get on screen.
We're worried about the teams that are just like losing people, hemorrhaging people.
These other teams have
week.
like PhD students, and they're just like, yeah, Danny McRae, professional football players, just over here carrying these comps.
Yeah,
it's fun though. I'm into
it is. I've never watched Survivor before, but this season I'm definitely in. I'm having a good time watching it. So
yeah,
all right.
He did say this morning that the editing process kind of helped him out a little bit. He said if they would have showed everything that happened in that challenge, it would have been embarrassing. Because like they edited out, they did me right.
Oh, I could tell he was kind of tired. That challenge looked like it was kind of especially 5 days of not eating, and then you go do that challenge.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, that sounds like that would be really, really hard. All right, we're joined right now by Bucky Brooks of NFL Network. Bucky, welcome to the show. Let's talk about this Carolina defense, and I'll start first with Carolina's allowed the fewest yards and second fewest points this season. Is this more of a reflection of who they've played? They've played the Jets and New Orleans and Houston, or is this defense really that good?
Defense is really good. They're really good because they're fast, they're athletic, they can get after you. And I think when you talk to Matt Rule, and I had a chance to talk to him while he was at Baylor, he talked about rebuilding programs. He said the number one thing that you have to do on defense is you got to put speed on the field. And I don't care where they come from, you got to be able to put a fast and explosive team on the field. And when I look at the Carolina Panthers, they have certainly followed suit when it comes to that premise. They have DBs playing at linebacker. They have guys who should be linebackers putting their hand in the dirt like Brian Burns. And because they're so fast and athletic, they overwhelm you with their collective explosiveness. And you have a Phil Snow who is a little creative and out of the box, and it puts a lot of pressure on you as an offense to figure it out.
So that being said, obviously, it sounds like they have a track team going on defense. That means we'll probably see the Cowboys try to attack them by running the ball at them. I mean, because they can't be that powerful if they're going to be that fast, right?
Yeah, the problem is you got big Derrick Brown sitting up in the middle of their defense, and Derrick Brown can be a handful. And, he hasn't put up like these crazy numbers, but he does enough to let the other guys eat. Shaq Thompson is having a good year because Derrick Brown is up in the middle commanding double teams and allowing those guys to run and chase. When Jimmy Chin decides to get into the box, then it becomes an issue. So, look, they're a rock-solid defense. They're tough. Matt Rule has done a great job of making sure that they play hard and they play with a level of toughness and physicality. So this will be kind of a test of wills, particularly if the Cowboys elect to run the football at them. It's going to be a heavyweight fight, an old-school 15-round heavyweight fight at the line of scrimmage.
Nice. Bucky, I know enough to know that Brian Burns is one of the best young pass rushers in the NFL right now, but I don't know his game enough to know how versatile he is. And does he play in one spot? Do they move him wherever the matchup is? Obviously, I'm asking because, are they just going to put him over Terrence Steele and say, have fun, or what are we looking at here?
Well, what you're looking at is a guy who is a speed rusher and a speed rusher only. The best thing that he does is, he just gets up the field on the ball. He has great snap count anticipation and first step quickness. And so if you're late out of your stance, he's by you. Now, to be honest, because he's not a big fan of mine, going all the way back to when he was coming out of college, like he's kind of a one-trick pony, right? He's either going to come up the field or he's going to do a spin move. And a lot of his sacks are kind of sacks on air. It's a blown protection. The running back forgets to pick him up, and he kind of falls into it. That said, he does have a lot of speed, and he can chase it down from the backside. The main thing that you have to do with him, you got to put a body on him. If you put a body on him, then you can nullify him. But if you fall asleep at the wheel, he'll run past you. He certainly will knock down the quarterback.
Sounds like this defense is really good. The numbers reflect that they are number one against the pass. They are number one against the run. If you had to choose one of the two and say this is where you would have potentially more success than the other, would you pass predominantly or would you run predominantly against this defense?
Oh, I think if you're the Cowboys, I think you're balanced. I think as much as I can give Matt Rule and Phil Snow and all those guys their flowers, I don't think if you're the Cowboys offense that you're blinking at the on the other side. I think you do what you do and then you adjust accordingly. I think the best thing that the Cowboys have done is they've been balanced. And I think Kellen Moore said this. I saw Dave retweeted this when he talked about, look, man, it's players, not plays. He basically kind of boiled down to that. We got better players, so it doesn't matter what plays I call. I just need to get the ball to the best players. And I think that is the premise that worked well for the Cowboys. Zeke, Tony Pollard, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, when they get their touches, more likely than not, they're better than the opponent. And so the Cowboys just need to play the game. I will say when they run the football and it's a little closer to the 50-50 balance, it helps the defense because you're not defending as many plays. And so just being mindful of time of possession and the number of plays that you're running on offense, that is to the benefit of the defense. But I think you line up and you play, you see how they're playing because you have favorable matchups on the outside. I think you attack them throwing it. But I think at the end of the day, man, when you're running with Zeke and Tony Pollard, like that is a problem.
I know sometimes when you look at offensive linemen, they give up a sack or some penalties, and you think, well, they're having a bad game. But, there's 50, 60 other plays that they do all right. Where's Tyler Biadasz in this, in your mind, as far as how he's playing here?
He struggled a little bit now. The one thing about guys inside, you can cover them up, and the offensive line is as good as your weakest link. And he link when he's on the field. For whatever reason, he just hasn't been able to be a power pusher. And that is really odd because when you think about Wisconsin linemen, you think about Wisconsin and moving people off the ball and the level of success that they've had with guys in the National Football League. He has kind of fallen short of that standard. That said, the Cowboys have an ability to cover him up. They've been able to kind of hide him within like the collective unit, but he certainly hasn't played well enough to kind of like allow the Cowboys to play at peak performance. Hopefully his play improves and they're able to kind of make up for the weak link that they're kind of protecting.
I know you're not in Phil Snow's meeting room, so I don't want to put you on the spot too much. I can't expect you to know this, but just as a general thought, I'm curious. They traded for C.J. Henderson on Monday, first-round pick out of Jacksonville. He practiced fully yesterday, so he's healthy enough to participate in practice. He's had 3 days to look at the playbook. What do you do with a guy like that in this scenario? I assume he's going to be active for this game. Can you trust a guy like that to have it all down and play a full game, or what do you do in that scenario if it's you?
Oh, I'm playing him, and I put him on the field right away. He automatically goes onto the field in nickel packages. We kind of figure out a way to work around him. Look, man, it's not real complicated. When you have really talented players, you try and make it very simple for them. And knowing how they think in Carolina, they're going to make it very easy for him to be able to go play. I think they're benefiting from the fact that a lot of their coaches come from the collegiate game. And when you come from the college game, you're used to doing these quick turnarounds because you may have a freshman that kind of comes off the street. You got to get them ready to play. So you figure a way to make it very, very simple for the player so his talent can shine. What the Panthers want is they want to put together a collection of dynamic athletes on defense that can overwhelm you with their athleticism and speed. And so they will find a way to either lock C.J. Henderson up in man coverage, play some simple Simon zones, but they're going to put him on the field. I would expect to see him play a prominent role.
Carolina leads the league right now in quarterback pressures with 47. Talk to me about how they're doing it. Is it primarily with just the front four? Do they blitz? Do they do a lot of stunts? Like what are they doing in order to generate the pressure that they're generating against their opponents?
It's all of the above. They do it all, man. They line up. If they can beat you with four, they'll beat you with four because their speed. Brian Burns and the speed off the edges can be problematic. If they need to dial it up and bring some pressure, they'll bring Shaq Thomas. They'll bring some of the other guys to create it. They'll bring corners off the edge. There is nothing in the playbook that they won't utilize. And so one of the things when we talk about speed, because the common denominator is speed, when you have a fast defense, you can create disruption. And disruption brings about those negative plays and those things. As the Cowboys defense has gotten faster when you put Mike and some of those other guys on the field, the turnovers kind of happen because speed creates disruption. And so it's the same thing for the Carolina Panthers. They got more speed on the field. They can run it down, play with great effort, make up your mistakes with your effort and your athleticism, and that's what they're doing. That's why they're having success.
All right, so tell us, who's going to win? What do you think is going to happen Sunday at noon at AT&T Stadium?
So I think this is a statement game for the Dallas Cowboys, right? Because the narrative has changed. Now the conversation around town and around the country is, oh, the Cowboys are real. They're legit. This is an opportunity for them to be a Super Bowl contender and all of those things. This is a test of the maturity of the Cowboys. Have they grown over the past couple of years to being a team that, when they're expected to win, they can win? I expect them to win, but to me, I'm looking to see how do they go about handling their business, because this is a game that I think they should win. Can they go about just chopping one and taking care of business right from the jump, or do they backslide a little bit because of all the noise has been so positive that now they get complacent and they kind of lose their focus on what is really important?
All right, Bucky, we appreciate you joining us. We'll be back with you again next week and talk a little bit more about the Cowboys' Week 4 opponent. We'll do that. We're going to take our final break, come back. We'll get some questions for these guys on this Dallas offense and this matchup with the Carolina defense. We'll be right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. Before you can park yourself in front of the game, park yourself in a John Deere and power through your chores. Our Land Run package is a 1025R, 25 horsepower tractor with a loader, rotary cutter, and a box blade for $229 a month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay, no surprises. So don't miss another kickoff.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now let's get to work.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar. And a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. And a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man's Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
Back to the break.
Cowboys Nation can join the fight against cancer with the 2021 Crucial Catch gear. Every dollar of NFL royalties from this collection will be donated to the American Cancer Society. Visit your local Dallas Cowboys Pro Shop or log on to shop.dallascowboys.com.
Welcome back. Final segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. Before we end the show, I want to talk a little bit more about this Cowboys offense relative to the Carolina defense. But I want to zero in a little bit here on the Cowboys offensive line. I want to get some opinions from you guys on how you think particularly 3 guys on the offensive line played against Philadelphia, and really just how they've played throughout the year. We talked a little bit about Biotish, Connor Williams, Terrence Steele. How do you think those 3 guys in particular have played, particularly last week and over the course of the season as much as they've played?
I think Steele, and this isn't really – I think if you throw expectations out the window, I think Steele has played the best of those 3.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I mean, you didn't hear holding 78 4 times.
Yeah.
I mean, Connor Williams had a hard time blocking, and Biotish cost him 14 points. Mm-hmm. And on both goal lines, he just I thought that quarterback sneak. Yes, Dak got in my opinion, but Biotish went straight to the ground. I mean, he had to kind of shift over to the right here. He didn't get any push at all. And of course, we know what happened on the other one. So Biotish. But they are getting 400 yards of offense. I mean, they were running it, they were moving it. I don't want to fault them all, but I think the past game, I think they've struggled a little bit there, especially Connor in this last game.
Yeah, I'm conflicted about Tyler Biotish. That's a hard thing to decipher because I think it's fair to call him the weak link of this offensive line right now. I also think it's fair to point out he just started his 7th NFL game. Somebody called me on that the other day. They were like, he played all last year. I was like, yeah, he started 4 times because Joe got hurt, and when Joe came back, he left the lineup. He started 4 games. He's barely played by NFL standards. He was a 4th-round pick also. Yeah, I think there's some Travis Frederick association going on that doesn't do Tyler any favors. Like, he's not Travis Frederick. Right. Travis Frederick was the best center in football. Yeah. And also he's gone against Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh, Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox, which for as much as everybody respects Fletcher Cox, Hargrave is playing better.
He showed
a freak. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Derek Brown on deck. Mm-hmm. He's gross too. Top 10 pick last year, just hard guy to deal with. And I get it. It's troubling because you're going to have those matchups throughout the season. I understand that. Even the Giants look like they suck. They have Leonard Williams. Like, it doesn't get easier in the NFL. But I still feel like the guy deserves a little bit of slack. And again, the expectation, like, you get so used to watching Hall of Fame caliber players play offensive line for this team, you got to make do with less than that in a lot of cases. And Tyler hasn't been so bad that it's thrown the offense off of schedule. I mean, they're moving the ball and scoring points in every game they've played so far. So has he been great? Not at all. Am I just breaking all the glass and pressing all the panic buttons? Not yet.
So let's take this question to the next level. I mentioned when we were talking to Bucky, Carolina leads the league in quarterback pressures. If you look at the other opponents that Dallas has faced, all 3 of them in the bottom half of the league in quarterback pressures. Are you at all concerned that going into this game that this may be a team that pressures way more than what you've seen, and those 2 guys, I guess, because you guys feel like Steele has been pretty good, those 2 guys, Williams and Biadasz, are you at all concerned about what they're going to be facing this week against a team that sends a lot of pressure, and as Bucky said, sends pressure in a lot of different kinds of ways?
Yeah. Not as concerned because of Ezekiel Elliott, and I don't mean that as a pass blocker. I just mean as a runner. I think that I don't know what the Jets have in their running game. I don't know what Houston has. Saints, they have Kamara, but they don't really use him the way the Cowboys like to use, obviously, Zeke in their running attack. So I think the Cowboys' running attack is going to kind of set the tone of this and maybe keep the pass rush off a little bit. Because, like I asked Bucky, I mean, you can have the fastest guys in the world, but, I mean, they're probably going to give up some here in the run. He said safeties are playing linebackers. Linebackers have their hand in the dirt. Well, you better be able to run on them. And I think the Cowboys have a running game, unlike the other 3 teams they faced so far, to at least offset what some of this pass rush will be.
I'm worried about it, and I'm glad you phrased it that way, because I think we're being remiss. We haven't mentioned an important name in this matchup yet. He's the guy leading the Panthers in sacks right now, and that's Hassan Reddick, former top 15 pick. Arizona had a breakout year last year. He's in Carolina because, I don't know this for sure, but it's a hell of a dot to connect. Matt Rule was his coach at Temple. Matt Rule knows his strengths and knows how to use him. He's a hybrid guy. He can do some linebacker stuff. He can play on the edge. He's got 4.5 sacks already this season.
He's a Michael Parsons.
I mean, he's a bulkier, less bendy Micah Parsons, but you can use him in that Swiss Army knife kind of way where you can create a lot of havoc with a guy like that. You can blitz him, you can play him on the edge. He's big enough to hold up against the run. Now you can get into conversations where you show blitz and drop him, and now Dak's got to deal with that. So I just say that to say there's a lot of ways that they can throw stuff at this offensive line, and with what we've already seen from those 3 in particular, it should be concerning. And I think they're going to need to call plays to offset that. Like, they should call their offense to offset pressure, because I think it's going to be coming at them a lot.
And because they do it in a lot of ways, where I'm most concerned is Steele and Biadasz and their inexperience. I know Steele got a lot of experience last year, relatively speaking, for his rookie year. But that all being said, he still is just a second-year player. And so the relative inexperience of those 2 guys, I wonder how much that can be taken advantage of by a defense that does a lot of different things and has a lot of speed. So you don't have time to react if you're lost. Like, they're going to be by you, as Bucky was saying a little earlier. That part does concern me a little bit. Now, here's another thing I want to talk about. Dallas's strategy offensively, and we've heard this from Kellen Moore a few times, we aggressively take what the defense gives us. So what do you do when you're facing a team that's equally good against the run and against the pass, when you typically look for where they will have a little bit more of a deficiency, and that's where you kind of attack them?
I'm not sold on this secondary. And again, it's the NFL. The results are what they are. At a certain point, I don't care who they've beaten. They still deserve credit for doing these things. Yeah. But you look at the quarterbacks that they've played, and even then the receiver cores that they've played. The Jets have a rookie quarterback behind a banged-up O-line with little in the way of skill players. The Saints were a mess that week, still breaking in an offense. Even when they beat the crap out of Green Bay week 1, they only threw for like 120 yards. They don't have...
Talking about the Saints.
Yeah. They don't have skill players beyond Michael Thomas, who's not playing. I mean, they got a bunch of low-round guys and Taysom Hill just trying to patch it together. And then Houston, what else? What do I need to say? As if
they weren't even with their starter.
As if Houston wasn't bad enough, they've got Davis Mills. Yeah. This ain't that. This is Dak playing at an MVP caliber with beasts everywhere and a running game. And so I respect Carolina, especially their front. And like I said, if Carolina's going to win this game, it's going to be because they just muck this whole thing up and just beat the offensive line. Yeah. But I'm not sold that this secondary is locked down. Like, Dante Jackson is fine. C.J. Henderson got there Monday. J.C. Horn's not playing in this game. Jeremy Chin's a good player. But again, I'm not sold that this is some secondary that you can't throw on, and I think there will be plays there.
Agreed. I think that their defensive... I think their defense is going to be aggressive, but I think there's ways to offset that, and I do think that Dak is playing with this lineup right now. I don't know if you would trade him for anybody right now. I really don't. I don't think you would trade for anybody in the league about what they're doing, what they've got right now.
I wish my Grinch heart just grew like 3 sizes hearing you say that.
Well, I'm not saying he's the best.
Bursting out of my chest.
The best. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the league, because you can't do that with guys that have won Super Bowls and are still playing at a high level. I mean, and there are guys out there. But I don't think you would take the combination of Kellen Moore, Dak, the line, Zeke, just what they're doing right now. You wouldn't.
If you said give me an offense that you would trade, you wouldn't trade the Cowboys' offense for any offense.
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes is outstanding, but I mean, you wouldn't. Would you rather have Russell Wilson in here doing what Dak is doing with all of this? No, I'd rather the guy. It's the chemistry. It's like Dave said, the chemistry of everything that's going is that But here's something that needs to be said, and we talk about it a lot. There are no divas on this offensive team, and it is very tough to do this. You can't just say, Cooper, 3 catches, 24 yards. Hey, we won. The Cowboys haven't had receivers here all the time like
Zeke.
that.
Zeke and Pollard.
Zeke is fine with it. The offense, Gallup was fine. CD, they just want to win. And as much as that sounds like it's easy, you see it around the league. You've seen it with this team. We saw him the other night at the game. It was great. Dez is great. But Dez wasn't always okay with that situation too. So it's easy to say pick your poison, but sometimes these other players they hear this kind of stuff, and I think it's a credit to everything that how unselfish they've been.
I don't want to myth make too much. I mean, we love Dak. We talk about it. Everybody knows I love Dak, but I think a lot of that stems from him.
I agree. 100%.
He oozes confidence. And he is accessible. He's not aloof. He's one of the guys. He oozes confidence in himself. He oozes confidence in all of them. He's the first guy to say, like, it wasn't there for you there, but I got you. He keeps everybody involved. And I think he is a big part of why everybody's just kind of chill with that, honestly. Is they're just like, Dak will get me
trust in him.
Dak will get me my play. See, they asked CD about that yesterday. CD was open on the Cedric Wilson touchdown last week, and they were like, "Did you kind of razz Dak about that? You let him know that you were open too?" And he was like, "No, he saw it and he made the best play, and he'll come back to me. It's fine."
Yeah. Cooper was wide open on a touchdown that they threw to Jarwin against the Chargers. They still scored on that drive, wide open though, and you're like, you want to score and all that, but yeah, like you said, like and that's what makes this offense so great. Is like, whatever you do, like, I don't have to force the ball to this guy. I got to get him his touches. He's making $15, $20 million a year. They don't do that. And I think that's a credit to everybody involved. You got to give coaches, credit as well. But I think it's Dak more than anything.
But I don't think Dak is better than Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. But I've been thinking that these last 3 weeks. I'm just like, he is operating at a level with the best of them right now. Not in terms of like how pretty the throws are or the stat lines, but just in terms of the confidence and the comfort.
Running his offense.
Making every decision's the right one, or if they're not the right decision, you get out of it, or you bounce back from the plays that don't go right. And it's been so much fun to watch.
And here's the thing. He's not at 100%. And I don't mean like health-wise. I'm talking about he's not at his game just yet because he doesn't want to run now.
His running game is not where it was before.
Maybe it's mental. Maybe it's just being smart. Maybe he's like, I don't have to take that risk. But once that gets back, and that's another element, and with all this other stuff, watch out, man. That could even be scarier. But right now, he just doesn't. He's trying to be smart with it, and I don't know if I blame him really.
Yep. All right, we appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back on tomorrow. We'll get you guys ready for Cowboys versus Panthers. We'll tell you who we think is going to win that game on Sunday at noon at AT&T Stadium. Till then, for Nick Eatman and Dave Hellman, I am Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!